Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Denko WordPress theme released about 10 days ago by AIT Themes. And what I initially like about this theme a lot is that it's minimalist in its design, but it's actually targeted more towards business users, people who maybe have a small business going with a team of about 5-10 people. If we pop into the admin side, you can see that out of the box, the Denko theme provides you with different content types for members, which would be team members, portfolio, all the projects your team has been working on, services, which is what your team can offer, and then testimonials, which is where, of course, you take quotes from some of your past clients that shows off how great your business or service happens to be. Now, what I found is that most of the business themes that are out there tend to be kind of clunky. There tends to be a lot of clutter on the page, but the Denko theme is much more towards what I usually like to use on my personal sites. Where you have big font, you try to minimize the amount of words on the page so that whatever you do right there kind of stands out. And what actually takes the focus tends to be the images that end up on your page. So here we're looking at the portfolio page, the default portfolio page anyway. And what would catch your eyes here is, of course, the portfolio images. So here we can look down at one of the portfolio items. Of course, these images are just default template. So once we're on the portfolio item page, we can scroll down, see different information about the project, including the date it was completed, the category of it, and the type of project. Keeping in line with the rest of the site, very big, very visible font, which is what minimalist themes tend to be all about. Not a lot of clutter behind it at all. You don't even really see a sidebar over on the side. You don't even have stuff like a sidebar over on the side or below or to the left. So when we scroll down to the actual content of the portfolio item page, and the blog posts look quite similar, you can see we maintain that big font that kind of stretches across the entire length of the page. There's no sidebar or anything like that. And we can, of course, embed some images into each of those project pages. So let's take a quick look at the blog posts. It's quite similar. Both the portfolio items and the blog posts are displayed in a grid fashion. You can see for each of the blog items that it does put the date there, the title in big text. We can click on either the title or the image to get into the blog post. Once again, big text as a focus on the site. We can scroll down, see the actual blog content, and it does display the tags for your blog posts out of the box. Though, although there's social links for basically the pages for your business, you don't have share buttons out of the box. So you might need to actually go get a secondary share plugin. There's plenty available on the WordPress plugin repository. So that's not really a big deal, just something to note. With the menu system in the top right, you have the ability to do nested menus. So whenever you add extra menu items to, let's say, this home page over here, your user or website viewer can click on that plus and get a drop down of extra menu items. A lot of themes don't actually do that, surprisingly. And overall, I would say that the animations that the site uses are pretty smooth. I kind of like that. It really fits the minimalist theme. On the theme options in the back, you can see that there's not a huge amount of options that are really available to you, which is both good and bad. The typical user isn't going to need to change every detail about their theme. Generally, it's going to be better if you just kind of stick to what the designers have come up for you out of the box. But if you actually know your stuff and you do want to change things or pay someone to fix it for you, the custom CSS is always there. Just because a theme looks a certain way out of the box, you don't necessarily need basically a drop-down back-end interface where you just select things here, but it would make it easier. So if there's features here that you typically would want, like the ability to set custom font sizes, you might actually be missing out on that. That said, making changes like that with CSS isn't all that difficult. And that said, once again, if there's too many options there, it's going to overwhelm a lot of people. So having only the settings which are really crucial, I don't think is that bad of a choice for them to have made. And that said, having only the options which are really crucial in these drop-down menus isn't that bad of a decision either. It makes it easier to kind of navigate in these tabs. Oh, and it does support Google Analytics out of the box, so you don't necessarily need to add in a third-party Google Analytics tracking plugin. You could just pop in the ID here and view all of your data in the analytics.google panel. Now, something that you might have noticed is up here in the General tab, you have a dark theme in addition to the light theme. So let's go ahead and check that out. This should just change the style for the entire site all at once. So I'm going to reload the page. You can see now that we have a very light gray text meshed against a dark gray background. Usually, if you didn't already know, you kind of want white text with black or black text with white. It's just what works. So this looks pretty good as well. It kind of depends what sort of site you're trying to go for. I think that most people will probably stick with the light theme, but if you do prefer dark colors, this is a good way to get started out of the box. And so a couple more things we can point out is that they do have a custom page builder built in with the theme. Like everything else the theme has going on, it's kind of simplistic, minimalistic in its style. It doesn't give you a huge amount of options, but it does give you what you need. The only thing about having the page builder there is that there's a lot of basically third-party page builders out there, which may give you a lot more features than what you see here. You could just use the out-of-the-box page builder and you'd probably be fine in most cases. And maybe you even like the fact that since it's designed by the same team, if you do need to contact them for assistance, they'll know exactly what they're doing. But personally, I feel it's a little bit overkill when themes create their own page builder, because a lot of the third-party page builders are actually really, really good. So I don't think each theme needs their own individual page builder, but it's there. In terms of plugins, there's only 4 included in the package, and they're all out of the box. AIT system info isn't even basically enabled by default. That's only for debug information, which you can access by going to theme admin and then AIT sys info. The updater, when you put in basically your codes from the theme site, it allows you to confirm that you've made a purchase on the theme and to update the theme whenever a new version of it rolls out. Beyond that, the Elements Toolkit, that's mostly for setting up these custom content types you see on the left. You probably do want those out of the box if you are trying to build a business site. You won't have to go grab third-party plugins to add that kind of functionality in. It's just there. And then shortcodes, if you don't already know, are these little snippets you can type in to your posts, to your pages, to add in elements by only typing 1 or 2 words out. I haven't actually looked into the AIT shortcodes yet, but shortcodes can in general be really useful when you're building out the pages. So if you're interested in that, you can go to their site and take a look at what shortcodes they have available. Now, if you are going to build a site with the Denko theme, I probably wouldn't just use the out-of-the-box ones. Other good things to have would be Akismet anti-spam, where you can filter out the comments that happen with your site. An SEO tool, either all-in-one SEO pack or Yoast SEO. You won't need a Google Analytics plugin because it supports Google Analytics straight in the theme options out of the box. So in conclusion, the Denko theme is a premium minimalist theme targeted at either bloggers who happen to like this grid-based style or small business owners, startups, who are going to want those different content types, or small business owners or startups who are going to want those content types out of the box like team members, testimonials, and portfolio items. The theme has a fluid design that works well out of the box, but it's limited in the amount of customization you're going to be able to do without adding in custom CSS code. One annoying thing that people may find is that there are no share buttons on your posts, which I think a lot of content writers would consider to be critical. Some actually don't like having share buttons on all of your posts. It can be kind of annoying for the reader. But if that's something you like to have on your site, you're maybe going to need to have a third-party plugin there. Though that said, the social buttons that they do include for links to each of your pages are really nice, and there are a lot of different icons you can set for your social pages up there. So if you want a theme that is big font, puts the text first, has a grid-based display on the images for your portfolios and your blog posts, and doesn't overwhelm the user by having extra content on the side of the page like a sidebar, then I think the Denko theme is going to be a good option for you guys. That said, if you're the type of person who is going to want to do heavy changes to the theme, but is also scared of writing your own CSS code or hiring someone to do it, then you may run into some problems with the limited number of theme options in the Denko theme. Personally, I also give the Denko theme bonus points for having both a dark theme and a light theme out of the box, because whenever I'm working in just general software applications, I'm often changing the default light themes over to dark themes when I'm working in tools like GIMP. So that's going to be it for my review on the Denko theme. If you're interested, I'm going to have affiliate links below. So I've been Chris, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my future video content.